The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and when you choose to go on it, you think it's real, because that's how powerful our minds are.
I can tell you from experience, the effect you have on others is the most valuable currency there is.
Don't think, feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Thomas, my man, have you ever taken peyote?
No, I haven't, and I'm glad you asked, because I thought it would take a while to get it. We'd ease into the psychedelic conversation. At this point, I've only really experimented with mushrooms. Never ayahuasca, never peyote, not even mescaline. But I got interested.
What a loser!
I know, right? I know. Well, then I guess you haven't lived, bro. Pussy. So I first found out about it, really started learning about it when I was about 19 or 20. I'm sure everyone's familiar with the Don Juan series by Carlos Castaneda. My aunt actually turned me on to those books. She lived in Taos, New Mexico, which is it's an interesting place in its own right. She was living there. She's a bit of an artist. Most recently, I think she was working as a helper for Huey Lewis's mom or something like that.
Okay.
That's an exciting visual in my mind, because I just can't even imagine. If she's anything like Huey, then she's wonderful. So I've been reading about it and have always been interested, and it's always seemed like one of those things where you definitely need to do, like in the books, it's sort of talked about with the utmost reverence, right? It's like Don Juan guides him through all these journeys and ceremonies, I guess. And it's not something that I would I never wanted to take it and go to a bar or take it and watch a movie with friends. Like, I feel like so many psychedelics are abused that way. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to take mushrooms and watch a movie. I'm like, what? It just seems like one of those things that you should be, for whatever reason, seems like you need to be outside.
Mm-hmm. Approaching it with reverence.
Right. Not everyone's going to agree with that. And who am I to tell people how to take, their medicine or whatever? But I've always been interested. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it'll definitely be with some sort of spirit guide. So what about you? Have you taken peyote?
No, but I haven't. I was also put onto it by indirectly hearing about it through Castaneda's books. And the reason I'm interested in it again now is because I'm actually in Arizona, very close to the mountains in which a lot of Castaneda's stories take place. And man, you know how you always hear about certain places have a spiritual energy, or there's something about them.
Yeah.
But man, I can really, I've always been a bit skeptical over that, but I can believe that when it comes to Arizona and the desert in general, the desert in this part of the United States, there's something special and something sacred here. And I was just reminded of your article that you put recently on Go Polymath about communing with nature.
Right.
Because I've been so plugged in to, I call it the Unholy Trinity. It's my MacBook, my iPhone, and my iPad. The three screens of destiny. Just been plugged in for hours and hours and hours each day, working or reading or whatever. And since I got to Arizona a week or two ago, each evening I will take a walk when the sun starts going down. And man, there's something about it. I mean, I'm not even in the most natural place. It's quite a developed little suburb, but just a little bit of nature, the few birds and trees and things I'm exposed to on that walk, I can feel that is it's healing. It's really healing. And it's my understanding that the American Indians that used to live in this part of the world, that was the psychedelic or the entheogen of choice. Probably because peyote comes from a cactus. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, man, I've been trying to get hold of it out here, but getting peyote in a place where you have no connections is harder than I anticipated. I mean, I was at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and I asked one of the guys, and he gave me this look, like, and then I put a message on my Facebook saying if anyone's in Arizona, get in touch. And so one guy is like, yeah, hit me up, here's my number. And I called him up, and like I was about to ask him, I was about to say, so dude, can you help me out with some peyote? And I thought to myself, maybe this isn't the best idea. I should probably ask him what he does for a living.
You're right.
So I said, hey dude, what do you do? What's your job? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm with the Border Patrol.
No
way.
way.
I swear to God, I was like, oh fuck, okay, cool. So that's probably not the right dude to ask about peyote.
I think that there is. I feel like if you got in touch with the Church of, I feel like it's called the Church of Peyote, or some sort of group that has legal bounds to use peyote as part of their, not mass, but their ceremony, right? So I think if you get in touch that way and do it as a religious proceeding, I don't think you'll get that much static. Just asking for it, yeah, illicitly, it would seem like probably a little bit more sketchy. But I want to take it back a little. You said you're going on these walks and you can feel it. Are there a bunch of cacti in South Africa? Are you familiar with seeing succulents and plants like that hold water in them in their structure rather than, because that's like being on fucking Mars. If you're used to like London and that sort of flora that is part of Europe, and then getting to a completely arid place and seeing cacti prolifically like that, it's weird, man. It's like a different world.
It's so interesting that you asked me that question, because just yesterday, fascinating that you asked me that question, in fact, because just yesterday I was taking one of these walks, and I remember looking at a plant. I don't think it was a cacti, but it was some strange looking plant that I'd never seen before. And I thought, this looks alien to me. And then I was reminded of, I can't remember which teacher or lecturer it was who said it, but he said you should treat your life and your experience on Earth as if you're the first person arriving here, so that you don't color your experience by other people's expectations or rules or judgments, or and which reminded me of another book. I forget the name of the author, but the book was called Stranger in a Strange Land. I don't know if you've read that, but it's all about an alien citizen that is brought to. I think he's brought to Earth. I read it a long time ago.
That's Robert. That's Heinlein, right?
Yeah. And he just has no visual or linguistic or sensory sort of references for this experience.
That's where he invented the word grok for that book.
Yes,
G-R-O-K.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. He's an interesting guy, Robert Heinlein. Interesting guy.
I know, I have him on my site. Specialization is for insects. Yeah. I have that quote at the very bottom of the Polymath site.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
He's definitely a weirdo, like an interesting polymath, eclectic, very intelligent guy. But so go on. I mean, interrupt.
No, that was pretty much all I had to say. And then I started looking like that, and a lot of the stuff started to look a lot stranger, especially some of the weird cacti and vegetation. But man, if a friend of mine often speaks about a similar thing which he calls the fly on the wall experiment, and he talks about a nightclub. He says, imagine if you were an alien who arrived on Earth, had never been here, had no idea what the culture was like, or what to expect from the experience, and you were in a nightclub and you just saw the things that go on. Like, everyone goes up to this weird counter, hands over like paper or little pieces of plastic, and gets given these strange elixirs which disrupt their metabolism and cause dizziness and God knows what else. And it's playing these strange mix of sounds at incredibly high volume that damages your ears. People are bumping into each other and grinding against each other and moving in strange patterns.
It makes them want to. It makes them want to reproduce. It makes them want to kill each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a super weird thing when you consider the nightclub experience. It's true. And I feel like I probably train a couple of aliens that are pretending to be humans because they're just so awkward. These people are so awkward that it's like, all right, the gig is up. You're clearly not a real person. Like, that is the goofiest response to a legit request that I've ever seen. I'm like, do 2 more. And they're like, blank, blank, blank. And it's like, that's an alien. You're an alien, clearly.
Yeah, that's hysterical. Yeah, but I'm pretty convinced of that a bunch of us are. I mean, aliens is probably not the right word, but I would say I'm convinced that a bunch of us have been aliens on different planets before this human incarnation.
Wow.
Yeah, I just find that stuff fascinating, even if it's not true, and I really do believe it is true. Even if it's not true, I just think it's an interesting thing just an interesting thought experiment, right? Just imagine what. I really hope that one day, with a psychedelic experience or with a lucid dream or whatever, that I can get to go visit some distant planet.
Let me ask you this: I know it's not really comparable. It's a little bit off the peyote topic, but it's still. What is the active compound in peyote? It's not DMT, right?
I don't know, man. I think I could be wrong. I think it's mescaline.
It's mescaline.
Yeah,
which has a different compound makeup. It's not like dimethyltryptamine.
I don't know, but I should probably know this. Yeah, I wish I knew. I don't. I should look it up.
Fail, cosmonaut fail. So we'll just use ayahuasca for a reference. Can you try to discover can you go into the experience thinking, all right, I definitely want to explore the possibility of a connection with having lived a different lifetime or in a different environment, and then can you maintain that, or does the medicine become too strong to really maintain that train of thought and that train of sort of exploration where you want to go with the thought processes?
That's a really good question, but I think it's very dose dependent. So on a milder dose, if you just start thinking about stuff, it'll lead you down that path. Whereas if you really break through and you are just completely consumed by the experience, then you pretty much have to take what it gives you, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not like you can just maintain that, search for the entire thing. Okay, it's...
You'll find out soon enough, my friend.
Yeah, right. Trimethoxyphenethylamine.
Wow.
That's mescaline.
Wow, okay. Cool. Well, that sounds good to me.
Totally different. So how long are you...
some?
Yeah, right. How long are you going to be in Arizona, and is that a reality? Like, can you just, figure it out this week and make it happen?
I'm doing my very best. Dude, there's something else about this place. It's the monsoon season, and every afternoon, I'm sure you grew up near here, right?
Sure, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, when those thunderstorms roll in every afternoon, and I mean, I'm in this kind of almost like I don't want to say it's a valley, but there's a huge mountain range, I think to the west or wherever it is, and these storms roll in, and there's just the most incredible lightning display. And the other day I was at my girlfriend's parents' house, and it was the second day I was here, and this first storm had started, and it was a very intense, thriving thunder/rainstorm. And I just said, I'm going out, I'll be back. And they were like, where are you going? It's raining. And I just put my phone down, took my shoes off, and just ran out in my shorts and took like a 10-minute walk in the storm.
Awesome.
Fucking epic, bro. Fucking epic.
That's so cool.
I realized, yeah, dude, we're not going to melt in the rain, dude. Like, suddenly, I realized, why would I be afraid of taking a walk in the rain?
Yeah, are you kidding? It's raining out there. You can't go out there. There's water coming from the sky.
You'll catch AIDS.
Yeah, I did grow up with that, and the desert's fascinating like that because you have this period. It's pretty much like August, maybe a little bit on either side of that, a little July, a little September, and that needs to sustain it for the rest of the year. So you get a ton of water, flash floods like crazy, which prior to that, I didn't know what a flash flood was and how deadly they were. One time I was actually bass fishing in this remote pond and a flash flood came and almost swept us away. We had to be rescued.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, you want to feel like an idiot? Get rescued sometime by some adult men who are like, "What are you doing? What are you doing fishing out here?" We're like 9, but still.
Do you miss it out here, man?
I love the visceral feelings I get when I walk through the desert, especially that desert and the rain smell. And I like being in the mountains, and I like, again, the flora. I love the cacti and the lizards and the desert creatures, the scorpions, things called vinegaroons. Oh, dude, it's horrible. It's the shit that nightmares are made of. Do you remember in The Matrix when they pulled that big fucking scorpion-looking thing out of Neo's belly?
Yes.
It looks a lot like that. It's got like lobster claws, a long thorax like a lobster, and then a whip at the end of its tail.
No,
it's called a whip scorpion. It's real. Look it up. It's vinegaroon. It's the most vile, disgusting thing. Can you imagine just being asleep and it like clicking its crab claws right next? Oh, it's terrible. So anyway.
Well, thanks for spoiling the desert for me, bro.
I know, right? Like, get out of there.
I was planning on going on this awesome walkabout peyote mission, but I don't think I'll be able to do that after hearing that.
Not if you see a vinegaroon, pal. But here's the thing, they're completely harmless.
Okay,
they don't sting, they don't bite, nothing. But yeah, I mean, I like it when I'm there, but for me, I've always wanted to be closer to water. And now that I'm near the ocean, that's tops for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really miss... People ask me that all the time. I was in Austin for almost 15 years. It's like, oh, do you miss Austin? I thought I might, but I really don't.
Yeah.
I love it here.
Well, you're in you're in the promised land.
I am. It's 72 degrees every day. Every day someone just comes and makes it rain cash right in front of me so that I walk only on cash the way some people walk on rose petals. Pretty good.
That's awesome, bud. That's awesome. What have you got going on this week?
Another week of building the business. Another week of trying. It's going. Man, Yelp's killing me. It turns out that Yelp is a really big deal for a service-based business. And Yelp is like, you start to build up based on your 5-star reviews. And that's great. And I had 11 5-star reviews, and I'm like, I'm cranking, right? And then some of my competitors have like 3. Right, and they're still showing up way further in the search. They'll show up top 5 personal trainers in Venice Beach, and I'm not even in the top 30. And so I'm calling the Yelp rep like, hey, what's the deal with this? He's like, well, they have 10 years on you, so they've been searched 100,000 times, and you've been searched like 330 times. It takes a long time to build up, I guess, to be, for the search engine optimization to work in your favor in that regard. Also, this happens to be the most saturated area of personal trainers in the world. Apparently there are 8,000 in like my searchable area in Southern California.
Who would have guessed?
Dude, 8,000? I was like, okay, well, at least I'm, trying to move forward in the 5 most difficult things you can do. Why don't you try to be commercially successful as an actor, a painter, a writer, a musician, and a personal trainer? Good luck with that. The odds are not in your favor.
A buddy of mine always says, another guy from Cape Town actually, well, he doesn't always say, he said it to me years ago, and it's always been on my mind. He says, he moved to New York, and he said, dude, when I'm in America, I have to raise my game. Like the rinky-dink shit that used to fly in South Africa, it doesn't fly here. Everyone takes everything to its zenith, and that's the thing I love the most about the US is the scale of everything is just astronomical.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Sometimes it's got its negatives like everything else, but in general, I find it so inspiring.
I would agree with that in a lot of ways, but I feel like there's just as much, if not more, mediocrity here because it is easier to say start a business than it is to, I don't know how easy it is to start a business in other countries. I've never done it, but it's relatively easy here. You go stand in line, you get your license to, do business in whatever county or part of the city you're doing, and you're off and running. So as a result,
it's the economic idea of low barriers to entry.
Right.
yeah, it's this industry. Yeah, I mean, like, business has a low barrier to entry in the US, but I don't know. There's always ways around it, right? You just have to. The cream will always rise to the top, or at least that's what I always tell myself. And on that note, Thomas,
we're gonna cut it off.
We should end today. It's been fun. If you guys enjoyed Digital Communion, please leave us an iTunes review and a share and like on Facebook. We really appreciate that. Until next time, my man.
Hasta la próxima, man. See you next time.
Yeah.